We're going to be talking about Luna Classic, helping you understand how to read the energies that are coming and crossing over on this chart. We're looking for the patterns and energy coming into the flow of price. What the flows do is they teach you how to see price in a simplistic form, still catching what's really happening. Flows help you locate with your eyes where the major energy is. An energy center is a place on price action where energy is coming together. I usually draw them as like a yellow circle. One of the foundations for my sword method is looking for these energy centers all over price, because we can use almost every single one of them in what I call reverberations. We can read some of the strongest energy coming in, and you can use these points in the story that will be created in events. In fact, sometimes months, weeks, days, everybody can do this. As you can see, the story progresses over time in slow motion. These points up here are very powerful and they carry emotion. Price has been going down. Price is now on the underside of this line. So if we look at the story so far, we can see that price came up to this line. Now, one thing we don't want is round structure underneath weakness. Otherwise, it can cause prices to go down or get stuck. If we were looking at this chart alone right now, we might say, hey, Luna's weak. Price is responding to these lines. Our next step is to start seeing if there's any other energies that also might be at work. Why are we on the underside of here? This is generally a sign we're going down, generally a sign of weakness. We should have rounded here. So if the signal fails, or if price doesn't do what it's supposed to do, it tells you almost everything you need to know. A few weeks ago, we were waiting for Luna to bounce on this line, weren't we? So if we were looking at this chart right now, we could see and assume there might be some weakness on this chart. But there's one primary thing that we're going to do to confirm if our key angle is correct. Because we can be watching a chart and then get completely wiped out by price doing something we did not expect. The principle of the bigger fish is something I talk about in sword method and all the time here on dive. The fish in the pond is always the biggest fish until another fish comes that's more stronger than him. How do we use this principle in charting? We're thinking we're the big fish. The weekly chart shows up and even more secrets are being revealed. Sometimes structures built over a long time. Those structures are very strong. Sometimes the pattern is very clear. We have to draw them. Especially if we can find verification that we're looking in the right place. If price doesn't obey those lines, you know something's wrong. Let's draw the angle that we did before, connecting these cores, and we're going to see something very interesting happen. What do we have here, team? What in the world is happening? Song, what are you doing to my charts? Why did you magically transform my charts? I thought we were weak.
Looks good, thank you.
Song, I thought we were weak. What's going on? We were underneath. We were weak, but now what?
What happens when you zoom out, man? Good work, man. Good work.
What do we have here? See, does it make sense to you now? These lines are all connected. We're still waiting for prophetic numbers, but as a trade, I can't teach you prophetic stuff. But I can teach you how to read, and I can teach you timing so you can see it starting to happen when it's supposed to happen. A lot of people come to Team Song looking because they heard a prophet say this about this crypto or this, and they hear all these things, but they don't understand timing. I can't tell you prophetically when it will happen. Sometimes I have dreams, sometimes the Lord speaks to me some things, sometimes it's just a dream. I don't know, but I can tell you the data. Now that old step-up area in here is acting a little bit like price getting stuck underneath here. You can see how it's getting squeezed, right? It makes a little bit more sense now why we might see consolidation, because it's just price getting squeezed on the bigger picture. How many days are in a weekly candle before the candle's complete?
7 days.
7 days.
Oh, this didn't close on Sunday then?
That's right. This candle has just formed, and that's why at the beginning of our lesson I showed you guys to turn on that countdown to bar close. We can see that price came up and sat down on this line, exactly where we're supposed to. This is another Luna Classic chart that I've done for a while, and we're looking at this green line. We also saw in the past week this green line, which we haven't covered in today's class, but it's another energy at work. We stopped, and I told you guys we need to stop at exactly 0.00016 at the end of the week. Guess what? At the end of the week, we stopped exactly there. So that's bullish, or a little bit healthy, I should say. Now we need price to start going up for Luna Classic. So that was one chart we've done, and we've covered that one, and we stopped exactly where we needed, which is on top of the meat of this green line. But that's not for today's lesson. Today's lesson, we're looking at it a little bit more simplistic. On the weekly chart, in the blue, this is a weekly line. Price is sitting down on top of it, coming up to the underside of the daily chart, but coming back down. So I don't really care so much that we are actually underneath this line. I only care if we close below that line. As it is, we are rounding on top of the weekly line. Let me say that again. As it is, we are rounding on top of this line, which is, for the most part, healthy. Okay? We want to be rounding on that area. That's where we want to be, okay? Because if we're rounding in the areas we're supposed to, that means that price is doing what it's supposed to continue going higher. And that can help us break some of the structures and things that are holding us back, such as the resistances from this area. That could give us some strength to punch up through this area and start building a healthy uptrend for Luna Classic. Does that make sense? So you can see how together the story is unfolding. Under volume, price came down until all the supply was drained up. Once all the supply was drained up, the markup began. It's like the sellers are drying up. So that's something we should look at and pay attention to, because the last few times that's happened on this chart, price has moved up in a big way. Lowest volume on the down bars went up. Now we're at the structure where we should be looking for a signal now, and the lowest down bars, then the signal going up. Okay? Now I'm not looking at the volume of the current candle, I'm looking at the volume from this one last week. Okay? If Luna doesn't hold on to this line and closes below, you're going to be the first to know it, and you won't have to wait for Jay Song's next video to come out. I'm going to say that again. If Luna closes below this line, you won't have to wait for Jay Song's next video. You're all going to know in advance what we should be looking for. If Luna Classic closes below the blue line after 1 week, then weakness has entered, and I would not expect any large bullish moves. However, if price continues to hold above this line, then price should go up because the line is powerful. It should make new highs. In addition, the structure is already round at this line. So it is a low map point and a possible great entry for Luna. If price does not hold, then you will be the first to know it. If price closes below this line, you guys are going to be the first to know it. And price needs to stay closed above 0.000, that's 3 zeros, 165 on the weekly chart. Right now, at the time of this filming, it's 6 days and 10 hours left on the weekly chart. If it does not, it could be in a dangerous to stay in Luna. So again, if you close below that line and you're just sticking around Luna, we may go lower and you could just be wasting your time. So you're gonna probably have to wait longer for Luna to have its next move or match prophetic numbers or anything else. There's not many signals that pop up on order block for the weekly chart. I see band energy coming in on this crypto. The indicator is pulling back. What it does is it pulls back like a rubber band and fires the other one. So if this case, if it's the indicator, it's gonna fire price. So price is primed to fire higher. This is a secret of how I trade band energy. And on my website, you'll see on my tutorials, just type in band energy and I teach you how I read RSI and other indicators that are similar to RSI. These are all lagging indicators, but they do show some of the major energies and where it should come in. And everything in this video is not financial investment or trading advice of any kind. Everything is just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. Bear in mind that I eat red crayons for breakfast. And so should you. Eating red crayons carries substantial risk, and trading in the markets does as well. Please never trade more than you can afford to lose, and be especially aware against high leverage trading or even leverage trading at all during these high market volatile times.